So United has a secret. Kinda. They've been giving away international flights for 0 miles and not telling you about it. I mean, can you blame them? Yes, you can. And in this video, I'll be spilling all the tea about this not so secret, just not very well known flight hack, walking you through how you can take advantage of it, and let's save you some miles while we're at it. Sure, but before we get into all that, hi, I'm Lonnie, and just to jump right into it, it's called the United Excursionist Perk. And it's a great way to either enhance a trip, extend a vacation, or both, especially if you have a few extra miles sitting around. Even better if you don't have a few extra miles sitting around. I mean, this is literally a buy one, get one offer for that international trip you're gonna take anyway, but with an extra flight in the middle. All right, that's enough fluff. Let's talk about it. To start, there's a bit of context we need to get out of the way. In 2023, United made lots of changes which affect the way you can use your miles. They've had devaluations that raised award prices over 100% for some routes. They also introduced a money plus miles option for those travelers who want to split their payments when booking. And of course, the topic of the day, they kicked this perk up a notch for the loyal flyers and loyal flyers to be. Okay. So what's the United Excursionist Perk? The short answer, it's an awards benefit that allows you to add a free one-way segment on select award bookings when using United Miles. Cool? You got it? Yeah, I didn't think so. Let's try the long answer, shall we? All right, the United Excursionist Perk allows MileagePlus members to add a free one-way award flight as part of a qualifying multi-city itinerary, letting you visit 2 destinations on your booking for the price of just one. Now, that's the United official definition, but there are 2 small things I'd like to touch on real quick. First, this perk is not fully free. You will have to pay taxes out of pocket, which will depend on the region and or the destination that you're using the perk. Hold on to that, I'm gonna come back to it in a minute. Then secondly, the visit 2 destinations part. Instead of saying destinations, I'll replace it with United defined regions as per the MileagePlus program, meaning you have to fly from one region to a second defined region to be eligible. And don't worry, I'm gonna throw those up on screen for you to see. I also dropped a link to United's site in the description down below. I recommend you bookmark it because there are a lot of regions to keep track and be aware of, like Hawaii and Japan being their own regions. It's not a simple continent to continent map, or feel free to come back and watch the video again. I'm okay with that. Moving on, as with anything travel or promotion related, there are terms and conditions to be aware of. So you can only expect to be a plethora of rules here, right? Well, there are, but only 7, and they're not too complicated. Let me break them down. 1, the trip has to be a United Award itinerary. This means you can only book these trips with United Miles. No cash or split bookings allowed, which is when you use a combination of cash and miles as your payment option. Don't get this confused with the taxes. That will still need to be paid with cash. No avoiding that. 2, you must travel from one United region to another, which we just discussed. 3, the Excursionist Perk cannot be in the originating region of the booking. So if your trip begins in the US, you'll need to travel to a different region other than the US or mainland North America to be eligible for the perk. For number 4, your travel must end in the same United defined region your trip began. Once again, start in the US, travel to Europe, get your perk while in Europe, and then return back to the US. To add to that, at number 5, when getting your perk flight, that leg must stay within the second region. Meaning if I flew to Europe, I need to stay within the Europe region for the perk flight versus trying to fly to a third region. I'll create an example of this in a minute. 6, the perk flight must be the same fare class or lower than the originating fare class. Now, I like this one. Let me tell you why. What they're saying here is, if you book economy, your perk flight will also be economy. But if you book business class, then you get business class for that free perk flight, which is sweet because United Polaris business class gets lounge access included as part of your ticket. And while you're visiting another region, an alliance partner airline will usually share their lounge with you and provide you that access as well. And lastly, if you book your multi-award trip with more than one leg, only the first award eligible flight will receive the perk. Using my same US to Europe example again, if I book 2 flights in Europe region, only 1 would be free. Okay, got all that? Yeah. Book a multi-leg trip with United Miles. Check. Make sure you travel from one United region to another. Simple enough. Book another trip within that second region and only that second region. Heard that loud and clear. Then fly back to your original region. Got it. Once breaking it down this way, you realize this is not bad at all. It can really work in your favor if flying through a region like Europe. For example, Ireland, Turkey, and Istanbul are all part of United's Europe region, not just the Western countries. That covers a lot of land and could add up to a pretty sweet trip, especially if you book business class. You could be flying business class halfway around the world. I'm excited. Let's create an example next. With all the rules and routines down, let's book a trip to London and Paris, as it may turn into an actual trip I end up planning for my family, as my player 2 and son have never been to Europe. So potential real life example here. For this trip, we'll keep track of both economy and business class to show two main things, which I'll call out as we walk through. So expect some hiccups and hurdles. Also, if you're actually going to visit London and Paris, take the train. I wouldn't recommend flying between the two, but in the name of education, let's head to the United website. All right, the first thing we want to do is sign into our United account, as we have to be signed in to book or even see itineraries with miles. You have to have an account. If you don't have one, you can sign up quickly. Takes just a few minutes and we're good to go. But don't get too excited and start transferring your points over just yet. This could be a huge mistake. We'll get into transferring points later, and watch this video to learn about other mistakes to avoid. Okay, now that we're signed in, we want to select Advanced Search over here on the left, which will take us to this screen. From here, we'll select Flight Only. If your account is linked to an employer, also select No under Business Travel, or else you won't be able to book with miles. For show price, you want to, of course, select miles. Now, let's start booking. To the right of round trip and one way, you'll want to select multi-city and enter the amount of people you'll be traveling with. I'll say 2 adults, as if the missus and I would ever be so lucky to take a vacation without the kid anytime soon. And then enter my destinations. Los Angeles to London, London to Paris, and then Paris back to LA. Once again, I'm gonna select first class. It doesn't really matter here, as you'll see on the next page. They'll show you economy prices anyway. Then lastly, all airlines, and hit find flights. Great, here are the options. And like I said, even though I selected business class, United will still show you economy pricing in the event it's a little too rich for your liking. I see there's a nonstop flight, which I personally love, at 34,000 miles for economy and 134,000 miles for business class, plus the taxes. It's also special member pricing. This is a special price that can be provided to select MileagePlus members for a number of reasons. Status, years of loyalty, to having the Explorer card. Now, I'm not sponsored by United, but I've said it before. United treats their loyalists very well. Just one of the many reasons I fly with them. Okay, back to it. I've selected my economy or business class flight. For the second leg to Paris, we weren't so lucky for another nonstop flight. Once again, take the train. But as I mentioned earlier, I chose this route for 2 reasons. Being that United is a US airline, it does not operate between London and Paris. So instead, you're provided a Star Alliance partner, in this case Lufthansa, and if you're booking business class, you'll see that the business class seat has also been discounted to 0 miles, except for the taxes. So if you want to switch to economy and save yourself a ton of miles, you have that option. And another option that you won't have to pay taxes on is hitting that subscribe button. It literally costs you nothing, but means a whole lot to me. And if you're finding all this helpful so far, hit that like button. I appreciate it. I appreciate it too. Now let's finish the booking. All right, final return leg back home or to region 1. I'll select a midday flight home, as this is all hypothetical at the moment, and to jump to the final screen where we're gonna finish the booking. As you can see on the right, this itinerary for 2 adults, business class, would cost 508,000 miles plus $1,900. Yeah, that's pretty steep. On the other hand, this would be significantly less if you book economy at just under 157,000 miles and $424 for 2 adults. Yes, more affordable, but also economy for 10 plus hours as a 5'11" man? No thanks. But the choice is yours, your money, your miles, your wallet. The other thing I want to point out, if you do select business class and don't have enough miles, United will tell you at the top of this page. including how many miles you're short. In the case of this example, it's just under 39,000 more miles needed if I want to book this cabin, which I could then transfer from my Sapphire or Bilt card to my United account to finish the booking. After that, just add the names and the traveler info and you're done. Lastly, regarding the taxes you'll have to pay out of pocket, make sure to use your card that earns you the most points as possible, as this is a travel expense and will count as a transaction that falls under directly with an airline. I'm talking to you Sapphire and Amex card holders. Sapphire Preferred will get you 2 points per dollar here. The Sapphire Reserve and Amex Gold will earn 3 points per dollar, and the Amex Platinum 5 points per dollar. In addition, the MileagePlus Explorer card will get you 2 points per dollar on the cost of the taxes if you don't have another card, and also cover you for a checked bag for you and up to 8 companions for each leg of the trip. That could be a good amount of savings. I'll drop my referral link in the description down below if you're interested. Anyway, this was just one very expensive example. You can play around in the tool on your own. Just remember all the rules. Also, a few more things to consider. Like, you can add more than 3 legs to a multi-city itinerary, but you'll only get 1 perk leg for 0 miles. And don't forget about the taxes. Also, you don't need to return to the same airport your trip originated, just the region. So instead of returning to LAX, I could have flown and ended my trip in Chicago instead, as they're both part of the US region. Also, you don't have to start your trip in the US either. Let's say I'm in South Korea. I could do the same thing starting in South Korea, add a quick trip to Thailand and the Philippines, and then return to South Korea. It works as long as you book through United, start in one region, travel to a second region, and return back to the original region again. This opens the door to some unique vacation options across Africa and even Japan. So who is this perk for? Well, anyone, I guess. I can definitely throw honeymooners into this bucket, or those that want to stretch their miles just a little bit further to get some more vacation for less. For example, if you and your player 2 are just getting started with your travel journey and don't want to wait and save your points, I could see a feasible trip with just a few welcome bonuses after a few months, which is why I think this perk is so great, because it gives you options and you set the price of the destinations. It can be as expensive or as luxurious as you desire. You own the entire journey. And just in case you're new to United, how do you get United miles? Well, that's an easy one, as there are so many different ways. But first, get a United account. Then you'll earn miles on any United flight you take where the ticket is paid with cash. You don't earn miles on flights taken when using miles. You can also earn United miles on any paid flights taken with any of the Star Alliance partners. So if you don't fly Lufthansa often, when booking, make sure to change your flight redemption to United miles or book directly within the Star Alliance website instead. As I just mentioned, you can transfer points from your Chase Sapphire, Ink Business Premier, or Bilt accounts, as they all have access to United as a transfer partner. There's MileagePlus Dining, where you can add any of your cards to the United wallet and earn miles when eating at select restaurants, and also the United Shopping Portal, where you're rewarded with additional miles when you sign in and shop at select retailers. And of course, simply using any United MileagePlus branded credit card. These will earn you a various amount of miles depending on how you use the card. I personally have the United MileagePlus Explorer card, as I love all the perks it provides when flying. If you want to know more, check out this video here, or learn to build a United card trifecta strategy in this video. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.